Live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
It is the 23rd day of February 2009. We're going to be here for the next 4 hours. I didn't intend this show today to turn into an example of the Obamanoids trying to ban free speech in the United States. They've introduced bills that would effectively ban many forms of speech and let federal boards decide what is arrestable and what isn't, an end to the First Amendment. They're moving to set up Internet 2 to shut down the old web. Mainstream news is announcing that, but saying how great it is. The head of Homeland Security and others are talking about trying to pass the Violent Radicalization Act, where, again, a federal board will decide what speech to ban, what speech to allow. The FCC is moving publicly, and scores of senators and the White House are calling for the, quote, reinstatement of the fairness doctrine, not just over talk radio, but over newspapers and the Internet. That is all happening right now. Meanwhile, when people see what Obama supporters are doing, they have trouble believing that it's actually happening. Remember back during the last 2 months of the campaign when Illinois, Missouri, Vermont, and a few other places had people being arrested for criticizing Obama? In fact, we have videos of huge public demonstrations for him that were non-permitted, and a few people come out and start speaking out peacefully against Obama, and the police tell them, leave or we're going to arrest you. We have all these prosecutors and police in newscasts saying, no, it's true. If you criticize Obama, we will decide if it's a lie or not, and we will have you arrested. I mean, this is really going on, and now he's president. And I had trouble believing Webster Tarpley when he said it would get this bad, but I guess he's right, so I'm going to try to get him to pop in on the show today. Remember, Webster Tarpley's now being called a right-wing fascist. This is the guy that wrote the unauthorized biography of George H.W. Bush and could only be called what I would call a progressive. I mean, he believes in big government. He does not like Barack Obama. But the point is, they've been doing little dirty tricks to him and others. And now we have all these Obama sites, like the Obama Forum, calling for dirty tricks and to shut my sites down and a lot more. And they say that they're filing complaints with the federal government to have our sites shut down. And these are serious posts. These are forum moderators and some of the main honchos over at the Obama Forum. They say they want Campaign for Liberty, Ron Paul forums, John Birch Society, Lou Rockwell, Libertarian Party, Infowars.com, Infowars.net, PrisonPlanet.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. And they're not joking around about this. And they go on the sites and also post all the other forms of harassment they're meeting out to the general public. Just absolutely un-American, and what we'd expect to see in Germany back in the early 40s and late 30s and in Russia. And they don't want to hear about how Obama lied and appointed nothing but lobbyists, or how he doesn't let people read the bills when he promised he would, or how he's increasing the troops, or how he's expanding the secret arrest and torture. I mean, that was in the Associated Press this week, that the Supreme Court had ruled that they had to give people constitutional protections in the Geneva Convention in the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan and in bases in Iraq and other ghost sites around the world. And Obama put in an executive directive over the weekend, actually Friday, saying that this will not be followed. We're following the Bush doctrine. And I was downtown Thursday interviewing Obama supporters to get a few more little comments for the Obama Deception film, which will be done by the end of the week. And, you know, they just don't care, ladies and gentlemen. They just don't care. They want censorship, and they want it now. I was down there talking to these people, and I would list all the things he's done, all the lies, and they just didn't want to hear it. They just don't care. It was just like George Bush supporters when he was busy butchering the Bill of Rights and Constitution, following the exact same agenda, because these men are just front puppets, and they don't care. And, you know, a lot of people last year, when it came out in the news that police were threatening to arrest people that criticized Obama, they couldn't believe it, and they accused us of it being a hoax. And then the police went on the news, and the prosecutors went on the news and said, no, we are going to arrest you. In fact, I want to play that again. I know Paul Watson did an article on it that has the YouTube clip of the different newscast. Let's pull that up. Officials to arrest those criticizing Obama. Google that for me and pull up a YouTube on that, because, I mean, it's kind of like when we had the press reports of how they were hiring 26,000 preachers to covertly go under FEMA control to teach their flocks to hand in their guns and go into FEMA camps, and nobody believed it. Even when we have the secret documents, with FEMA phone numbers on it, and then it came out in the mainstream news. But it is hard to believe that the Obama Forum and a bunch of these other forums are serious. I mean, one wants to believe they're a hoax or a joke, but regardless, people are taking this stuff serious, and things are being done to this operation. So we will go over that here on the broadcast today. And we know what happened to Chip Harrison, pulled over for anti-Obama sign-on car, sign confiscated, later returned. Secret Service paid him a visit and asked him to look around his house to see if he was part of a hate group. I mean, that's the Daily Oklahoman. That happened. He's coming on in an hour and 45 minutes here on the show. You know, I remember a year ago talking about how Obama supporters were planning to reinstate the Fairness Doctrine, restrict free speech. People said, oh, that's not true. That's not happening. Now it's in the New York Times, the Washington Post, saying, yo, yes, we need to reinstate it. And they've lined up all these senators and House members, and they've got editorials in major publications everywhere saying ban people's show like mine. So it is happening, ladies and gentlemen. It is real. This is a real situation that we are facing. In other news, remember last Friday I had a lieutenant colonel on the show, the spokesman for the National Guard, now federalized in Iowa, and he admitted that, yes, the Iowa National Guard was in New Orleans for the gun confiscation, but he went on to say that he didn't think they'd ever have to be given that order, but it depended on the situation in the country to see what they would do. And in the local press report, compiled via an interview with the military, they said, yeah, we're going to lock down the town of Arcadia in Iowa and another town, and we're going to practice taking the town over and go door to door and ask people about what type of weapons they have, and, you know, do they know where weapons dealers are? And then I have all these other reports about Marine Corps and Army drills around the nation where they say in the reports, well, this could be for the U.S. or this could be for overseas. And, you know, we've got the helicopters and the armored vehicles in here so that our forces get familiarized with the area. In fact, that's in an article Paul Watson wrote today that we'll get to in a moment. But National Guard scraps plans to invade rural town. This operation could be pretty intrusive to people. That's the WorldNet Daily headline from Friday evening, and they picked up on the story. Following publicized reports that the Army National Guard was planning a military training exercise in the streets of the rural Iowa town, the commanding officers have called off the mock invasion. The Guard had planned a 4-day urban military operation, the tiny Arcadia, Iowa population, 443, sending troops to take over the town and search door to door for suspected weapons dealer. The exercise was designed as a mock scenario to give soldiers the skills needed for deployment in an urban environment, and military officials stress that only households that consented to be part of the drill would be searched. Yeah, they said they'd go to your door and ask if it was okay if they searched, and that they would set up checkpoints blocking in the town. And then they have real towns in places like Arkansas where the entire town is, quote, under martial law. That's the police chief. This has been on CNN, and that they search everyone 24 hours a day when they try to leave their neighborhood. See, this is happening everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. It was important for us to gain the trust and confidence of the residents of Arcadia, Sergeant Mike Knotts, Readiness NCO for Alpha Company, told Carroll's Daily Times Herald. We will need to identify individuals that are willing to assist us in training by allowing us to search their homes and vehicles to participate in role-playing, to acclimate them for gun confiscation, by the way, to train the troops. It's okay. We really want to get as much information out there as possible, Knotts continued, because this operation could be pretty intrusive to the people of Arcadia. That's a quote. This is going to be pretty intrusive. Military spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Greg Hapgood, who we interviewed, however, told WorldNet Daily the operation has now been scaled back. See, first we were told Friday it was canceled later in the day, and then I said to my people, no, they'll say it'll be scaled back, and then, of course, that was announced. And no longer involves an invasion of Arcadia. They're going to be there, folks, watch. And while Hapgood confirmed that the Guard had been inundated with objections from citizens concerned that soldiers patrolling the streets of American town, he said that most came from people out of state and unfamiliar with the operation. Iowans, he explained, oh yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the operation. Iowans, he explained, typically cooperate with the Guard. The change in plans was based on troop evaluation, he said, not public outcry. Oh, I mean, folks, do you like being talked to like that? I mean, do you really believe they scaled it back because of troop evaluation, not public outcry? Higher headquarters leadership, Hapgood told WorldNet Daily, given the unit's status of training proficiency, made a decision to scale back the exercise. We'll get more into this and then Paul Watson's article up on prisonplanet.com. Urban warfare drills linked to coming economic rage. Stay with us.